Guys, happy Thursday. Today is our last learning day. Tomorrow is going to be a read-only day and catch-up day, but I will be reading our story. We're almost done with this. We're still on Jeremy. After he found out some things on Halloween, he is now still snooping, and his friend Joe has found some things. So let's get started here. He was sitting in Miss March's class the very next day, half paying attention to a lesson about the Louisiana Purchase, half beating himself up for not even getting a single piece of candy the night before, when the public address system crackled with a static and the principal's voice came over. "Jeremy Bigelow, please report to the principal's office." Jeremy gathered his book, zipped up his backpack, and walked down the hall. The principal, Mr. Girardi, was waiting for him outside his office. His hands were clasped behind his back and his face was very grave. "I'm afraid I have some sad news," he said. Jeremy made himself look worried. "Is it Grandma again?" he said. Mr. Girardi put his hands on his shoulders. "I am so sorry. She passed away this morning. Your parents said that you'll be leaving for the funeral immediately. You've got to get your bike right now. They need you home as soon as you can get there." Jeremy hung his head just so Mr. Girardi wouldn't see his smile. Wonder why he's smiling. He nodded. Mr. Girardi squeezed his shoulders. "Please give my condolences to your family," the principal said, and Jeremy nodded again and hurried out the door. He hopped on his bike and pedaled away, not towards his house, but to Joe's. This was their bat signal, the one they'd agreed on months ago. Joe was homeschooled, so her time was her own. So if she needed him in any kind of emergency, she'd call the school pretending to be his mother and tell the principal that his grandmother, which both of them died years ago, was dead. Stopping at a traffic light, Jeremy pulled out his phone. "Get here as fast as you can. I have news," Joe said. As soon as he finished reading the text, a second one came. "Hurry, hurry." Jeremy felt his fingertips turn cold as the town hall bell tower tolled noon over his head. Joe never told him to hurry. In fact, Joe was usually telling him to slow down, to be thorough, to make sure he wasn't making a sloppy mistake. Jeremy pedaled faster than he had ever had in his life and dumped his bike on the lawn and raced to their lair. Joe wore a baseball cap beneath its brim. Her face looked pale and pinched. Her mouth was set in a straight line, and there was dark smudges under her eyes that suggested she had a sleepless night. "Good news and bad news," she said. And Jeremy heard the faintest quiver in her voice. He never heard Joe sound uncertain or scared before, and he definitely never heard her be sad or afraid. "Good news first," he said. She managed a ghostly smile. "We got our first hit, the grayish fur you found. It is not from a human." Jeremy heard his breath whoosh out of him. His knees started to tremble. His skin prickled with goosebumps. This was it. The old man said everything. And the bad news? Instead of speaking, Joe wheeled herself over to her desk where a single piece of paper was waiting. "This came this morning, and it was not left in my mailbox. I woke up to it outside my bedroom door on the floor." Jeremy looked down and felt goosebumps ice over his skin. The missive, according to the letterhead, was the Department of Official Inquiry, Paranormal Division. It was addressed to Miss Josette Taylor Tarquin and Master Jeremy Josiah Bigelow. "We have intercepted the samples you collected. We have copies of the photographs you have taken. Prepare to surrender everything related to your investigation, including but not limited to physical evidence, computer files, hard drives, disks, faxes, photographs, handwritten documents, and any and all other correspondence that you have. The courier will be at this residence at 0000 hours tomorrow, November 2nd. This is a matter of global security. We require your complete and total cooperation. If we do not receive it, penalties including but not limited to the arrest and imprisonment will be assessed against you and your parents and or guardians." The letter was signed with an eligible flourish of black ink. The words "Matthew Carruthers, Director" were printed beneath it. Jeremy picked up the sheet of paper. It was heavy, creamy, embossed with an image that he couldn't see but could feel it. Lifting the paper into light, it revealed an imprint of a 5-point star with the words "Department of Official Inquiry" written underneath it. Beneath the words was a drawing and a circle enclosed by an oval with their motto. "It's an I," said Joe. Her voice was tiny, and it means The hidden eye sees all. Jeremy felt a shudder work its way up his spine. Is this real? He asked. This agency. Are we going to really get in trouble? I can't find anything about the agency online, but the letter is real, Jo said. Her face was white, her forehead furrowed. She looked furious, and yet she looked a little worried. Whoever broke into my house and left it for us was real. What do we do now? Jo gave him a smile like the edge of a knife. Are you familiar with the expression sunlight is the best disinfectant? Jeremy shook his head. It means we tell the whole world what we found. Jo's mouth was set with a grim line. November 2nd isn't until midnight. So tonight, we let the whole world see. We put our pictures online. We tell everyone that the hair we found was not human. We post to every group that has anything to do with Bigfoots or paranormals. We call a press conference. We get the media in there. The whole world is watching. Then this agency won't be able to hurt us, especially because we're kids. Jeremy shook his head. This was way too much, and it was happening way too fast. Carruthers, he said. Do you think it's any relation to Milford Carruthers? I think that's the least of our concerns right now, Jo said. Just as Jeremy's phone started buzzing in his hip, he pulled it out and saw the name he hardly ever saw flashing on the screen. Mom. Hello. Jeremy? His mother's voice was tight, higher than usual. Instead of her normal, thoughtful tone, she sounded pretty tense, annoyed, actually, he thought. Maybe even a little bit afraid. Where are you? At Jo's house, he said. It's a half day. Teacher's in service. His mother never paid attention to any specifics on Jeremy's schedule, so she wouldn't have expected him to be at school. But he gave her the excuse just in case she was paying attention. Why? What's up? Can you meet me at Fitzsimmons Market? My credit cards aren't working. What? He said. Jo was staring at him. Don't you have more than one? Cards? His mother said. Cards, plural. None of them are working. Not my bank card, not my credit card. She put her hand over the phone and said something sharp to the cashier. Oh, my first computer crashed. It wouldn't even restart no matter what. And then I went shopping and this happened. I'm worried someone got my social security number and they've stolen my identity. That's a thing, isn't it? Identity theft? I'll come with my allowance, he said. Jo tapped his shoulder. What? He mouthed. My mom. Jeremy mouthed back. I've got my bike. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Fine, said his mother. And then to the cashier manager, I promise you, I'm not trying to steal anything. I'll be right back, Jeremy said to Jo as he ran out to go help his mom. If we hold a press conference, Jeremy began to say before he left, people will start looking right away. So the Department of Fish and Crime will have people there, right? Unless they're stupid, and I don't think they're stupid. Won't we lead them right to the Bigfoot? Maybe we'll lead them, but we'll be there too, she said sharply. Jeremy watched astonished as the bars and leathers resolved into the wheelchair, and Jo used her arms to hoist herself into it. Outside on the street was empty except for a white van. The sign on it said, Standish Security Systems, your safety guaranteed. I bet, Jo murmured as she looked into the van. Go give your mom her money, then we'll go for a ride. I emailed the press releases, but just to be on the safe side, maybe we should take them to Channel 6 and the Standish Times by hand, too. Of course, said Jeremy. I'm scared, he thought, but he was also really excited. This was real. This is going to happen. He, Jeremy Bigelow, had a friend, and the two of them were going to show the whole world that the Bigfoots were real. That's the end of that chapter of Jeremy. And we'll be going on to Millie tomorrow. So we'll see what's up with her. She is now done with Halloweening, which she had such a great time, but I think she might be in a little bit of a pickle because of that when she gets back to her village. Anyway, there'll be some questions at the end in your email. So I will send them later, and have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.